like to call the December 16, 2024 Crest Hill City Council meeting to order at 7 o'clock p.m. I would ask that everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, and gentlemen, please remove your caps. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Chris.
Ray Solomon.
Here.
Glenn Conklin.
Present.
Scott Dyke.
Since it's Christmas, present.
Jennifer Methvin. Darrell Jefferson.
Here.
Claudia Gazal.
Here.
Tina Oberlin. Mark Sapedi.
Here.
Nate Albert.
Here.
And Joe Kubal.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, I did receive a text from Alderwoman Methvin this afternoon. She's a little bit under the weather, so she is excused for tonight's meeting. First on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the work session held on November 25th, 2024. Motion would be in order.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderman Jefferson for the approval of the minutes of the work session held on November 25th, 2024. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sapedi.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
And Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
And you also have before you the approval of the minutes of the city council meeting held on December 2nd, 2024. Motion would be in order.
Second. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Jefferson, seconded by Alderwoman Gazal for the approval of the minutes of the city council meeting held on December 2nd, 2024. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sapedi.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, we have on this special night before Christmas, we have a lot of individuals that are here that are winners of our 2024 Holiday Lights Contest. So I would ask for council's concurrence to deviate to agenda item under committee liaison reports, and I'll turn it over to our event committee chairman, Alderman Mark Sapedi, for the presentations. Mark?
Where's the music? Would you like me to sing?
First, I want to thank everyone for being here tonight, and I want to thank everyone who filled out an entry form for their houses that they decorated. They all looked great. It was really hard to pick winners because they really all looked really great. It clearly shows that you put a lot of time and effort into decorating your houses, and it really shows. So I want to thank everybody because it really is adds a positive light for Crest Hill, and especially during the holiday season. But we are going to acknowledge some here tonight. We have 3 honorable mentions and then a first through 5. So we're going to start with the honorable mention. And this house is at 1812 Bury Circle Drive. In the description of this house is a winter wonderland. So I want to present the certificate to residents from 1812 Bury Circle Drive. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Your house really looked good. Let's give them a round of applause. Moving on to 2101 Greengold. Description of this display is 3 community trees with blow-ups in the window, an angel tree, a hope tree, and a wish tree, and a manger in the window. So it doesn't look like they're here tonight, so let's give them a round of applause for their effort. Okay, moving on to the third honorable mention, it's 1919 Bury Circle. And the description of their display is lots of lights, that's for sure, anyone could see that, with a large Santa on the roof. So if you don't mind coming up and accepting your certificate?
My son.
Oh, is it? Oh, awesome.
Good job.
Now we're going to the fifth place finalist. That is 20420 Spruce. And the description of their display is a classic warm white lights with Grinch on the side of the house and Santa looking over the fence on the other side. With the rope light sleigh and green trees and deer with snowmen are new this year. So I know they always go all out and put a lot of effort into their home, and it clearly shows. Are the residents from, okay, here we are. Your certificate, and along with that is a $30 gift card to Beggar's Pizza.
Yay.
Thank
You
you.
can share with me, Mark.
And the fourth place finishers, fourth place finalists, 16640 Zauza Drive. And their description of their display is a skating rink with rental house and Peanuts characters roped in with candy cane lights. So, residents from 16640 Zauza, come and receive their certificate. And you have a $30 gift certificate to Don Rafa.
Awesome.
Enjoy.
Thank
Very
you.
much. Thank you. Okay, on to third place. It's 532 Elsie Avenue. They always have a great display, and their display description is Looney Tunes and Mickey Mouse characters with musical, moving trees, and Christmas tree lights on the roof. Let's give them a round of applause. Certificate. And you get a $50 gift card to Dragon Light. Here. Okay, moving on to second place. 1720 Rayner Avenue. Description of their display is gingerbread forest and Santa seen from space. Anyone here from 1720 Rayner? And you have a gift card for Southern Cafe.
Awesome.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Great job. Now the first place winner. 1824 Dearborn. The description is exactly what it is, a log cabin Christmas. Anyone here from?
Yep.
Okay. Your certificate. And you have a gift card to Fritz's Poorhouse. Thank you. Again, just in closing, I want to thank everybody that took part in the contest. As I said before, everybody did great. I think you're all winners. So thank you very much. Let's give them one more round of applause.
Well, congratulations to all the winners. And I know there's a lot of other houses throughout the city that decorated also, so congratulations to them. I know it's a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of money to put all of the decorations up. So congratulations to all of you, and I will give an opportunity, and let me say thank you to Alderman Sapiti for the work that he did as the events chairman for this holiday festival and the prizes that you received. I would make an offer if anyone would like to come up to the podium and speak about anything about their home or anything else you'd like to share with us. I know we got some gentlemen here that are probably not afraid. I knew you would, Kirk. Kevin, you're probably next over there, so.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the award, but most of all, I just wanted to tell you that I'm grateful to live in Crest Hill. It's been a great place for us. Appreciate it.
And you were a great businessman also.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Anybody else? Last chance. All right. You certainly can stay if you'd like to, unless you want to just listen to the boring stuff that we're going to have to say up here, but you're more than welcome to leave. You probably won't hurt anybody's
Mayor,
feelings. I know
Mayor,
you
can I
probably
just
got a
make
lot of
one
work to do with Christmas and everything else.
Mayor, can I just make one comment?
Sure.
To all the winners out there, you know, I know we don't do this for a prize, so I appreciate all you do for the community and the kids. Just receiving notification from a resident that saw my house, and they appreciated the fact that we don't know what everybody's going through during the holidays, and seeing the lights and seeing the smiles on kids' faces is exactly why we decorate our homes, not to win prizes. So thank you for your commitment to your community, and for the Ludvinsons, am I saying that right? You gotta talk that neighbor into doing the second half of that duplex there.
You barely even see them, so that's why I built the forest of trees.
Well,
And-
I just want
And the
to,
other thing too, sorry, Tina. I was gonna say to Mark, your house looks awesome this year. I love the new stuff that you added onto the fence. It looks phenomenal. It looks classy, looks professional. And then for the log cabin, I was impressed with the log cabin when that thing was built. And now that you got it decorated with lights, it looks really sharp. But congrats to all the winners. Really brightens up the holiday.
well, I just want to say that touring the city, looking at all these homes, not just the ones that entered, but all the homes, I think we had more homes decorated this year in this city than I've seen in many, many years. And it was so wonderful to see, and I got such a kick, even my neighborhood house I grew up in, oh my God, it was decked to the nines. I had to get out of my car to look at it, it was so beautiful. So I want to thank, and my son does our house, of course, we can't enter, but I want to tell you, I appreciate it, because I know what goes into doing all this. I've done it for many years, and it's really a wonderful thing, and it's a beautiful thing, and thank you all, everybody who did it, even who's not here, because it really, really was lovely, driving around our city and seeing it all. So, kudos to all of you.
Anybody else?
I just want to echo what everyone says. Nate, you're right. Some people, you don't know what they're going through. You know, it brings definitely a smile to everyone's faces. And I had a lot of fun with my daughter trying to judge those homes. And even though we argue a lot, like stop here, don't look at here, but we made it. We survived. But thank you for everyone for lighting up Crest Hill. That's all. Merry Christmas. And yes, 2 from Ward 2, so congratulations.
I want to thank you all for all the effort you put into decorating your homes. It really shows the pride you take in your home and in your community. Really want to thank you for what you've done, not only for, you know, people in the neighborhood or others, but it gives families something to do at night, to take a ride and look at the homes decorated. I know my granddaughters loved it, so thank you, appreciate it.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Thanks, here. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Okay, moving to our city attorney, Mike Steff. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I do not have any agenda items this evening, but I am certainly willing to try to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions of our city attorney? All right, thanks, Mike.
Hearing none, Merry Christmas to everybody.
Did the Grinch really steal Christmas?
Never. Always gives it back at the end.
All right, to our city administrator, Tony Graff. Good evening, Tony.
Yes, we have one item, we're going to request to table it. We received some additional language working with the local 150 and our labor attorney. So we'll put that back on the agenda on January 6th meeting. And no report from city administrator. Any questions?
Should we maybe have this on a work session, or are we gonna get a copy of it before the meeting so we can see the differences or changes?
We definitely give you a copy tomorrow because we just got the changes and once it gets reviewed tomorrow, Wednesday, we'll give you a copy. Yep.
All right, thank you.
All right, is there a motion to table the
So moved.
agenda item?
Second.
We have a motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderwoman Gazal, to table the approval of the amendment to the Employee Personnel Manual, Section 9, Safety and Equipment Use regarding cameras in the workplace policy. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Darrell Jefferson,
Yes.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
and Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Tony. Moving on to our Public Works Department, our Director of Public Works, Julius Hanson. Julius?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. We just are looking to have these, item number 4, number 5 approved this evening. And it was talked about at the workshop, the last meeting, so if you have any other questions or comments or anything this evening, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
All right, let's take number 4 first, okay? The approval of the pay request number 23 from Vissering.
So moved.
Second.
We have motion by Alderman Albert, seconded by Alderperson Oberlin, to approve the amendment to the employee, to approve the pay request number 23 from Vissering Construction Incorporated with direction to send it to the IEPA for approval and disbursement for a total amount of $1,013,747.42. Questions or comments? This was discussed, all of these were discussed at the last work session last Monday night. A roll call, please, Chris?
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
Okay, the next one is, I ask for a motion to approve the purchase of a Ford F-350 pickup and for the street division and the Department of Public Works for a total amount of $50,091. Motion would be in order.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Albert, seconded by Alderperson Oberlin. Any questions or comments in regards to the motion?
Yes, Mayor. I still would like to know what repairs are needed on the other truck we're replacing. We were told it's $4,000 worth of repairs. We weren't told if that's parts, if that's labor, what all exactly needs to be done to the vehicle.
Our initial assessment of the vehicle that's being recommended to be replaced, which is unit number 33, it has some engine issues, so if it needs to have an engine replaced, that would be the $4,000.
So there's not for sure what engine issues it is?
No, if it needs a new engine, it would be $4,000, and it's
You're
very
saying if
possible.
it needs.
True, it's being assessed at this time, but it does need work, and it does have the 6,474 engine hours. And when you look at the engine hours, that's how you really determine the wear and tear on a vehicle. It's really not just the miles. So the miles, show at 58,000 miles, but it's the engine hours at that high number of 6,474, and you would do a calculation to determine what that equals in miles. And in our calculation, that's nearly 200,000 miles, and it has engine issues. So we really don't feel that we should put a significant amount of money into a vehicle that doesn't have much life left. We feel that it would be better to take that money and purchase a new vehicle, and we're only asking for one new vehicle at this time, and we have several in the fleet that are of the same type, where it's very high engine hours, which relate to a lot of wear and tear on those vehicles. And that spreadsheet that I showed you shows some of those numbers, and that's actually not completely up to date. All those numbers are worse than they show on the spreadsheet. Those vehicles have been driven and used since that spreadsheet was created, and it's been updated, but it hasn't been updated for a while. So those are just the best case scenario numbers on that spreadsheet. Those numbers are actually worse than it shows on the spreadsheet. So therefore, purchasing one vehicle now to replace one vehicle is a start. We still need to continue to purchase some annually to continue to replace the older vehicles in the fleet. And I think it's gotten to a point where we should take some action, and that's what we're recommending.
Well, I would assume that the vehicle, with the idle hours, that our mechanics change the oil more often on vehicles with their idling hours, just like a taxi or squad car
Sure.
or that the oil's changed more frequently because of the idle time.
That is true, but there is, that wear and tear on the engine, even though you're changing the oil, it's still, wearing on the parts of the vehicle, and those parts can break down. So when you start having engine issues, it's not dependable, you have to replace the engine, there's a lot of expense involved, and then what else is gonna be next? And you start spending a lot of money to repair a vehicle that just is not gonna be a dependent vehicle anymore. That's why there's, many vehicles in junkyards, because they get to that point where it's just not worth to fix them anymore. And so we feel like this is the time to make that move, to purchase something and replace this one, and then we can sell that one. At this time, it's just our evaluation and our recommendation, based on the facts of the engine hours, the miles, and the idling hours, and the mechanic's recommendation.
Well, I'm just, curious, because I'm just hearing no specific, like this or that is wrong with the engine. It might, maybe, it's not anything saying, oh yeah, the rings are bad, bearings are bad, it's got a rod knock. I ain't hearing none of that. I'm just hearing maybe or might.
Well, I don't want to diminish the value of the resale value. I mean, the more I probably elaborate on the condition of the vehicle, the more the price goes down that we would get in the future.
I would remind council that this is within budget, that the vehicle replacement program was suspended a few years ago. One would normally be replacing 2 to 3 vehicles annually to keep pace with the aging. So I would suggest that it's probably prudent at this point, at least to be doing 1 vehicle per year in that department, and likely a couple. Otherwise, you're gonna end up with a whole fleet of very aged vehicles.
Any more questions? All right, we have a
I
motion
have a
and a second on
question.
the table.
I have a question, Mr. Mayor. I hear a lot of analytics like, numbers, 58,000 miles, 6,000 miles, idling time. And, I don't come from that background. I come from a background where they had a fleet maintenance crew, and they did engine rebuilds, trans rebuilds, they did stuff like that, as opposed to swapping the vehicles out. So at some point in time in the future, can we possibly get, or can I possibly get, a session where you break that down to,
Sure,
so where it makes sense to me?
absolutely.
Okay,
Let
thank
me
you.
know when you want to do that.
Sure.
More than
Thank
happy to do that. And just so you know, in the American Public Works Association, that's basically the organization that pretty much dictates the professional standards of our, industry or in fleet maintenance. And they go by engine hours, idle hours, and miles. Those are the data points that you use, and your mechanics' expertise of evaluating things to make decisions like this. And,
Sure.
and the vehicles nowadays, they show those data points on the dash and remind you when you have to do an oil change, or when the engine idle hours are a certain amount, and all those things go into making decisions. We don't just, make it because we think it's a good idea. There's facts involved, and we follow those facts and, bring those recommendations to you. And I'd be more than happy to have you meet the mechanics and show you the shop and sit down with you and discuss these points, and, or anyone else for that matter.
Right.
We're open to the public.
Thank you. I mean, as a point of educating myself.
No.
I'd like to make decisions from a point of knowledge as point of going along with the group.
That's the best way to do it, in my opinion. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, roll call, please, Chris.
Mark Sepiti,
What are we voting on? I thought someone wanted to table it. Is that what we're voting on?
We got
No,
to take care of that one.
purchasing.
purchasing the
Okay.
vehicle.
This is the vote on the
On the trunk.
item as it is on the agenda? No.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
No.
Darrell Jefferson,
Yes.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
and Tina Oberlin.
Yes,
Motion carries, thank you.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Okay, any other questions of Public Works? All right. Thanks, Julius. Moving on to our city engineer, Ron Wiedemann. Good evening, Ron.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have anything on the agenda tonight, but I can entertain any questions that council might have.
Any questions of city engineer?
I'm not sure which one of you gentlemen would address this, but when you turn, right at the intersection of Gaylord and Theodore, where the, lit up sign is, if you go up a little bit past that, there's like metal, looks like it was some sort of utility box that's like mangled and laying on the ground in a hot mess, and it's been there, it seems like forever. What's the status there?
Well, I know that that was hit when the guardrail was hit by that drunk driver.
Right.
I know Public has replaced the guardrail. I'm not sure if, I'm not sure if it's AT&T, I have to check into it, but if the utility was contacted or not, I can follow up and find out.
Yeah, because it's been like that for a very long time now, and nobody seems to be tending to it, and I think it might be a bit of a safety hazard as well.
Yeah, I can check on it. You're referring to north side, North Gaylord on the, east side, right after right before the bridge.
Correct.
But, yep, I know where it is, okay.
Do you know if we got reimbursed for that guardrail? Because I know I saw it in the list of bills, and we've had things in the past where an accident happens, and then I'm hearing a year later that we still haven't received payment from the insurance company.
I can't answer that for you because Public Works is one that handled the guardrail replacement, but I assume that we can't, that if an insurance came back, I can talk to Glenn. If an insurance payment came back, then there would have been some notes reimbursing back to general fund. So we can take a look to see. I don't know if anything
All
came
right,
back.
well, I'd like to know that
So
if we
we'd
did
have
get
to,
reimbursed
we'd
on
have
it.
to take a look and see. So I'll talk to Glenn about that, see if we can find something.
Yeah,
All right,
we'll
thank
take a
you.
look into it and find
Yeah.
out.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Ron. Moving on to our community development, we do not have any agenda items this evening, so we will move on to our police department, our police chief, Ed Clark. Good evening, Ed.
Evening, Mayor and Council. I have two items on the agenda this evening. First is I'm requesting approval of an ordinance amending Title 10, Chapter 10.01, Division 4, by repealing sections 10.01, 10-503, and replacing it with new sections 10.01, 10-503 through 10.01.10-506 of the City Crest Hill Code of Ordinances. This is in regard to our addition of truck permits, fees to the truck permits, and hand in hand with our new program, Oxcart. So I'll be looking for approval of that ordinance.
So moved as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderperson Overland, seconded by Alderman Albert, for approval of an ordinance amending Title 10 Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 10.01, Article 10 Crest Hill Vehicle Code, Division V, Special Weight Limits by repealing sections 10.01.10 to .50, 2.503, and replacing it with new sections 10.01.10503 through 10.1.2 through 10.10506 of the City of Crest Hill Code of Ordinances. Questions or comments?
And it's no cost for this,
There is no cost to the
but
city.
the potential upside is that it could bring in revenue.
Correct.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
That's correct.
Roll call, please, Chris.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes,
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
and Nate Albert.
Yes.
Motion carries, ordinance 2010.
The second item I have is a resolution approving a service agreement between the City of Crest Hill and Oxcart Permit Systems LLC for services related to the online permitting of overweight and oversized loads on roadway within the city of Crest Hill. I'll explain also that we are still working through this, and this approval would be upon, obviously, the review and approval by Mr. Stitt.
And I can just jump in here. Oxcart really does not require us to have a contract, but in talking over it with Ed, they said we can do one. Not everybody does one with them. I thought it was best to have an agreement in writing, so they sent it to us. I've reviewed it. I had a couple of typographical errors. They had a couple of villages instead of cities, so I've pointed those corrections out. And there's a couple other minor issues to work through, but the main thing, per Councilman Sapiti's question, is that this is a no cost to the city, so it's an agreement that just outlays what Oxcart will do and what their duties will be, what our responsibilities are, and it's pretty straightforward. I don't find any major problems with it, but we haven't had a chance yet to iron out all of my minor requested changes. So in order to get this approved and rolling January 1, the resolution allows, or upon your approval, will be subject to attorney modification. But again, right now I see no issues with this. And obviously if there's something that I think needs to be changed and Oxcart pushes back, we'll probably just come back to you for, you know, some other further guidance, but I don't foresee that. So this was just an expedient way to getting this done so we can roll this out on January 1.
So moved as presented with the attorney's comments.
Second.
Motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderman Dyke. To approve a resolution approving a service agreement between the City of Crest Hill, Will County, Illinois, and Oxcart Permit Systems LLC for services related to the online permitting of overweight and oversized loads on roadways within the City of Crest Hill. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
And Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 1274.
Thank you. Lastly, I would like to introduce our newest officer. He was sworn in this morning, and he starts the academy on January 6th. This is Caden Lewis. He comes from Coal City, Wilmington resident for many years as well. So he's going to introduce himself.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, I'd like to thank the City of Crest Hill for giving me this opportunity. I've worked really hard to be where I am, and there's no place that I'd rather be besides Crest Hill. So I'm excited to serve the community, and I'm looking forward to meeting every one of you and knowing you. Everybody that I've met here so far and who has welcomed me, they've been extremely nice, and I can't wait to just serve the community and get to know everybody. So super excited, and thank you for this opportunity. So
Welcome.
Great.
thank you.
Well, welcome to the City of Crest Hill, Caden.
Thank you.
It's nice meeting you this evening here, and you have a bright future ahead of you. Stay safe and go home safe every night. That's all that matters.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Well, welcome, and I don't know if it's because I'm getting so old or what, but you look just so darn young.
Yeah, I've been getting that a lot. So yeah, I'm only 21 years old. So
Well,
yeah.
I'm a little older than
Yeah.
that. But welcome.
What I'm gonna say is God bless you.
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
may God protect you, and thank you for your service very soon. I know this is a tough thing to do in today's world, so as a mom of a police, I know. I bet your mom is gonna be very worried, but God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations and welcome to Crest Hill.
Thank you.
I'd like to just welcome you and wish you all the best. I think you're with a good department. So.
I think so too. Yeah.
Are you making our chief look older?
Yeah. It's not hard.
Way older.
That's not hard.
Want
He
to
did have
welcome
his
you to the
first,
city. Want to welcome you to the city, and hopefully you have a long career with us, that you're here many, many years.
I hope so too. Yeah. Thank you.
He did have his first donut as a sworn-in police officer.
Yeah.
Break them in,
He
right?
broke him in good.
Yeah. That's right.
All right, Caden.
Thank
It's
you.
hon-
Nice
it's a
meeting
very
you guys.
honorable career, so God
Thank you.
bless you. All right. All right, any questions of our police chief? All right, thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
Moving on to the mayor's report, I do not have any agenda items this morning. I would just like to wish all of our residents a blessed and Merry Christmas and a safe and healthy and Happy New Year to all of our residents, and make the time that you spend on Christmas and around the holiday with your family and friends. Cherish every moment of that. So, any questions of the mayor? I'll try to answer them. We will move on to our city clerk's report. Our city clerk, Christine Verche Hall. Chris?
Good evening. I have no report, but the clerk's office wishes everybody a Merry Christmas and a happy and safe New Year. Thank you.
Any questions of our city clerk? Thanks, Chris. Moving on to our city treasurer, Glenn Conklin. Good evening, Glenn.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before you is a resolution approving a renewal for the independent contractor agreement for our HR services with Dave Strahl. It is, Tony, my recommendation that this be accepted. The only thing I might ask, and I don't like to negotiate against myself, but I will ask the council entertain a 3% increase. This contract is as it was previously, last year, and I'd ask you entertain that as amended with a 3% increase.
Do you have what we'll plug in here then? Like 109?
No, like 101.
Why wasn't that in this memo? That suggestion?
I did craft that. You can take the agenda as I'm suggesting. You can take it as written. Your pleasure, board.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
We have a motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderperson Oberlin,
What's the motion? To
approve a resolution approving the renewal for the independent contractor agreement HR with a 3% increase for Dave Strahl.
So Exhibit A would be changed to $100.94 per hour?
Is that what you got, sir?
That's what Tony's math is. I'm not a math guy, so.
194, yes.
Okey dokey.
Any questions or comments?
Thanks for clarifying that.
Roll call, Chris?
Darrell Jefferson,
Yes.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 1275.
Thank you all very much. Next, I look for some discussion on a request for the approval of the property tax rebate application. You have an explanation of the submitter, Glenn Gerke, and I concur with his recommended action to council.
You're asking for
I'm requesting the council not approve this action.
correct.
Did you say not to approve?
Not to approve that action. My suggestion is that we have, our mandate is to work with council, for council, as directed. If there were to be any amendment as far as like a grace period, it runs in the face of being able to in an orderly manner, conduct business. If you chose you wanted to have a week of slop, for lack of a better term, I'd suggest that we move that date back for 1 week. This process has to be cleaned through Will County. It becomes burdensome for us to make exception, and if we make one, we're inclined to make 20 or 100. And we're just trying to follow by your rules. However, you can set them as you see fit, or you can choose to grant this request. But it would be my recommendation as from our office is to decline that.
I'll make
If I
a
may
motion to
chime in.
concur.
If I chime in right quick, there must have been some miscommunication. I did talk to the finance director about it, and upon our conversation, I sent an email to Tony to place it on the agenda at a later date to be discussed. So there is nothing to take action on this evening. It's supposed to be on the January 13th agenda to be discussed as an extension.
So I would suggest you make a motion to table?
Yes, I'll make a motion. Because we gotta follow the ordinance anyway, so it's not, we
have
can't
to.
vote it, well, yeah.
Timeline's gonna push us back even farther though,
Well-
correct, Glenn?
Yeah, just to be clear, I just want to make sure, do you want me to stop or place on hold the tax rebate program or continue on with it? Because we've had multiple, it's not just one person, although this one person was mentioned here. There are multiple applications that came in that we did not accept before and after. So if you'd like us to stop and hold this, please let us know by your direction what you
But
want us to do.
if you do that, they will not get out by March 17th,
It's
correct?
doubtful.
It's doubtful.
You're
I-
gonna
I
have
can't
to
It
kind
could
of
be 1 or
want,
2 months past,
Sorry?
true?
Sorry?
It could be 1 or 2 months after.
It could. When you put yourselves, you take yourselves out of the queue, you go to the back of the queue. You don't stay in the front. You don't just go back a day, a week, whatever. You go to the back of the queue when you're asking for information from Will County. And so if we place this on hold, I can't guarantee you what their response will be.
I want to clarify, Darrell, I'm taking it as you want to bring this up as a discussion item for next year's rebate.
Right.
And that's what I mentioned last.
And I based
last
that off
week.
of the conversation you put forth at the last meeting.
This year, it's done. It's
Right.
over with. We have to move on. But I think for next year, we can talk about further policies.
So there's a motion on the floor to table?
Right, that's why
I think you want to,
I'm
So I
kind of
wanna
confused
rescind,
with this
right?
even being on the agenda, so
Yeah.
I'm confused.
so I'll
with,
rescind the motion, and I'll make a motion, because I made the motion to
You
table
made
it.
the motion to table, yeah.
So I'll rescind my motion, I'll make a motion to deny this tonight. Correct?
Yes,
Correct?
yes.
I was gonna make a motion
was-
to
he was
concur
the
with the
president.
treasurer's recommendation.
Okay,
You
so
just
that's
did.
the same thing.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
So
again,
you're
just for the record,
Yeah,
I'm
make it a
I'm
second.
totally confused with.
All right, so we have a motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderman Dyke, to take staff's recommendation not to approve the action of this request. Questions or comments?
I would like to apologize for any miscommunication I had with Alderman Jefferson. Sorry, I did not, I misinterpreted what you were asking for, so my apologies.
Right, once we spoke and you explained, and I went and did the little research, that's why I asked that we set it aside. This year is a wrap, but going forward, we may be able to apply an extension that will still allow us to meet our commitment with the county.
Well, great, thank you for clarifying.
Okay, so for this vote tonight, a yes vote is a denial. Correct, Mike?
Which is staff recommendation.
Yes. A yes
Well,
is a
The
denial.
way it's phrased on the agenda is a request for approval, even though approval of the application. So to me, that reads that the request is approve my late application. So you would be denying that request. But if the memo is phrased differently,
No,
you're,
we're requesting that it be, to not approve this action.
And the motion was to deny.
the motion is to deny or to concur
So
with
a
the.
yes vote is a denial.
Is that correct?
well, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but if we do nothing, then it just doesn't exist.
Well, it's on here, we have to do something.
No, you don't.
Well, I think that you should do something with an agenda item.
Okay.
Unless,
All right.
unless nobody wants to make a motion and it dies because there's no motion. If everybody wants to rescind the motion, it can die
do
because
that.
there's no motion.
We have a motion and a second to
Yeah,
deny.
so now we call the vote.
Okay.
Okay, roll call,
So
please.
we're not
Tina Oberlin,
Yes to deny it, yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Joe Kubo,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson,
Abstain.
And Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
I want to thank you all for that. That makes this year buttoned up, and then how you choose to address it for next year is great.
And then Alderman Jefferson's request is to have this, the issue of either a grace period or some other extension for next year's property tax rebate is going to be on the agenda for a work session in January.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you. Next up, I seek your approval on our list of bills issued through December 17th of 2024. That total is $1,111,030.78.
So moved as presented.
Can I get a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Alderperson Overland. Who made the second?
Joe Kubal.
Alderman Kubal for the approval of the list of bills. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
And Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you all. The next is just reporting. Our regular and overtime payroll from November 18th, 2024 through December 1st of 2024 totaled $271,067.74. That's all I have for this evening. I'll entertain any questions. If not, I'll wish you all a very Merry Christmas and up to and a Happy New Year.
Any questions of our treasurer? All right, thanks, Glenn.
Thank you and good evening.
Moving on to unfinished business. We have nothing on the agenda. Anyone?
I have something for unfinished business. Mr. Attorney, I forgot to do this under your agenda item. Back a year ago, we discussed, we brought up about the use of the community room. And April will be here for 2 years, and we have not done anything with that. Are we gonna plan on putting this on the agenda? Back in the day, we discussed that we're gonna put it on the agenda to figure out a way to use that community room, about the rules about it.
If you recall, I drafted a form and rules and policy for use. I got it to Blaine. I think that got brought to you at least in some form or fashion. There was a discussion at the work session. I was asked to get Romeovilles. I did get Romeovilles. I got that to, I think, Steve Golden, and I think it probably has just fallen through a crack.
Well, we have a community room, and I know it's not your fault. This is like, it was put there for the community use, and the community cannot use it. The resident cannot use it for.
But there is an agreement that I drafted that's floating around. I can get that to Tony, and I can get the Romeoville sample of how they do it. I think there were some issues on insurance and I'm trying to think of what else, but I can get the 2 samples to Tony, and Tony can put it on an agenda, and I think
Yes,
this
we need to
bears
put that on
another
agenda
work
so we
session.
can start a year. A lot of associations, they want to set their needs, and at this point, they can't do them. So we're gonna do this as soon as possible, if it's possible.
Okay, new business, anyone?
Just for confirmation, Tony, this will be on the next agenda? Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Committee liaison reports, anybody? City council comments, anything you'd like to share with your constituents? Anybody want to go first?
I will.
Alderperson Overland?
Well, I just want to wish everybody out there, everybody in this room, a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Feliz Navidad, Joyeux Noël, Bon Natale, Feliz Natale, whatever you celebrate. And I learned a new one this year, my country, Ireland, Nualig Hung Weech, which is Irish for Merry Christmas. So I hope the new year brings everybody.
Let me teach you a new one.
Another one?
كل عام وانتم بخير.
Oh,
In Arabic, here you go.
I'll add that one next year.
There you go.
And I hope the year of 25 brings everybody a good year. And as I always say, just remember, if you have an opportunity to do something nice for somebody else, pay it forward. You just don't know what kind of day or life or week they're having. So the smallest things can bring the biggest joys to somebody who's having a bad day, a bad week, a bad year. So share the love, folks. Thank you.
Alderman Spitty.
Well, I'd just like to wish everybody a happy holiday season and hopefully also a happy and healthy new year going forward. Thank you.
Alderman Albert.
Ditto. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and Mayor, I forgot to do this at the last meeting, but wanted to congratulate you and Vicky on being grandparents again.
Thank you.
Congrats on congrats.
Thank you. We were blessed with a beautiful grandson the day before Thanksgiving, November 27th. Both mom and baby and big sister and son-in-law are all doing well. Thank you for that. Alderman Kubal.
Happy holidays to all.
Alderman Dyke.
Thank you, Mayor. It's easy this time of year to get caught up in all the lights and presents and gifts and everything else that is all part of it, but hopefully everyone takes time and realizes the real reason for the season. I wish everyone a blessed and happy Merry Christmas, a happy, healthy, and prosperous New Year, and be safe. Thank you.
Alderman Jefferson.
Just like to wish everyone a safe and happy holiday season, and not only Mr. Obie, but the other residents that contacted me about the property tax rebate issue. It is on the agenda moving forward. Nothing could be done for this year. Thank you.
Alderwoman Gazal.
Want to wish everyone a very happy New Year. May your Christmas be filled with love, health, joy, and many blessings.
Okay, public comment. Anyone like to address city council? Please step to the podium, state your name for the record. Address is optional. Let the record show that no one has approached the podium. Mike, is there a need for an executive session?
There is not.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
1 minute. Mark, I just want to congratulate you on the good job on the holiday lights.
Oh, yeah, Mark,
Oh, thank
good
you.
job.
Good job. Sorry.
Motion to adjourn, Mayor.
Second.
A motion for an adjournment by Alderman Dyke, seconded by Alderman Jefferson. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson,
Yes.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
and Tina Oberlin.
Yes,
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, meeting is adjourned at 7:53 PM. I thank you. Good evening and Merry Christmas to everyone.
Ma'am,